A 10-year-old girl walked into a glass tower in downtown Chicago with a thick envelope she found in the trash. She wasn't there to beg, she wasn't there to steal. She didn't even know what the company did. She just knew one thing. If something isn't yours, you return it. But instead of a thank you, she got laughter. Loose change tossed onto a conference table like she was a stray dog. Two executives smirked at her like the moment was entertainment. She was holding back tears when the door opened. And the person who stepped in wasn't just another suit. It was the owner. And in the next few minutes, that envelope would do something far bigger than protect a corporation. It would crack open a secret that had been buried for a decade, one that would rewrite every life in that room. Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed. These are the stories that never make the headlines, but somehow hold more truth than 1,000 press releases. Now let's start from the beginning. It was late September, the kind of Chicago day that can't decide whether it's still summer or already fall. The air was heavy, and the city smelled like hot asphalt and roasted nuts from street carts. Maya Carter had just finished school and headed straight to her after-school job at a corner deli on the edge of Pilsen. Not the trendy version of Pilsen on Instagram. The real one, where you keep your head down and learn early what bills can do to people. Maya was small for 10, hair pulled into a ponytail with a stretched-out scrunchie.
Sneakers that had seen too many winters. She worked because her mom worked too, and somehow it still wasn't enough. Her mom, Rachel, cleaned offices downtown before dawn, then 2 houses in the suburbs on weekends. Her grandma, Miss Loretta, watched Maya and her little brother Jordan in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment above a laundromat.
That afternoon, Maya was sweeping near the trash bins behind the deli when something caught her eye. A manila envelope. Not the flimsy kind. Thick, reinforced. Half crumpled under napkins and coffee cups. Curiosity got the better of her. She picked it up. It was heavier than she expected. One corner was open just enough for her to see inside. Papers. Official-looking ones. Stamps. Seals. A logo with sharp black letters and a silver emblem. She couldn't read most of it, but she could tell it was the kind of paperwork adults treat like gold. Then she heard her grandmother's voice in her head, the one she'd heard 100 times. If it's not yours, baby, you bring it back, even if nobody's watching, especially if nobody's watching. Maya flipped the envelope over. There was an address label. Harrington Klein Group, 180 North Michigan Avenue. She knew that place. Not personally, but in the way a kid knows a skyscraper. You see it from the bus window and it looks like it belongs to a different species of human. The next morning, Maya made a decision. She put the envelope in her backpack like it was fragile, like it might break if she breathed wrong. She rode the CTA with commuters who stared through her, got off near Millennium Park, and stood in front of a building that looked like a mirror turned into a fortress. Inside, everything was cold and bright. Marble floors, perfect lighting. People moving fast with that look that says, "I'm important, don't slow me down." Maya approached the reception desk. The receptionist was a woman with sleek hair, a headset, and nails so polished they looked like glass. Maya cleared her throat. "Excuse me, ma'am. I found this envelope and I think it belongs here. I just wanted to return it." The receptionist didn't even reach for it. Her eyes scanned Maya like a security camera. "Where did you get that?" "In the trash behind the deli where I work," Maya said. The receptionist let out a short laugh, the kind that doesn't even try to be kind. In the trash, so it was trash. Maya's cheeks warmed. "No, ma'am. It has important papers. I didn't open it. I just saw it looked serious." The receptionist leaned back slightly. "Sweetie, this isn't a place to come in with stories. If you're trying to get a reward, there are ways to do that properly." "I'm not trying to get money," Maya said quickly. "I just came to give it back." The receptionist's smile thinned. "How old are you?" 10. The woman's eyebrows rose like Maya had just confirmed a suspicion. "That explains it." That was when a man stepped out from a side hallway. His name was Brent Caldwell, operations manager, late 30s, crisp suit, the kind of smile you see on corporate training posters. "What's going on here?" he asked. The receptionist tilted her head toward Maya. "She walked in with an envelope. Says she found it in the trash. I'm pretty sure she's trying to pull something. Brent looked at Maya, and Maya recognized that look immediately. The look adults give you when they decide you're a problem before you've finished your sentence. Come with me, he said. Maya hesitated, but followed him into a glass-walled conference room. Inside was another executive, Derek Sloan. Older, gold watch. A posture that said he was used to being obeyed. Brent took the envelope. Maya stood there with her backpack straps clenched in both hands. Brent opened it and flipped through the first pages. His eyes barely moved like he was speed-reading boredom. He said, then closed it. Derek smirked. What is it? Kid's treasure map? Brent chuckled. Looks like outdated paperwork. Probably got tossed for a reason. Maya stepped forward. But it has stamps and signatures. I thought it mattered. Brent reached into his pocket and pulled out a handful of coins. Not bills. Coins. He set them on the conference table with a little clatter. There, he said, amused. For being honest, go buy yourself a soda. Derek laughed openly. Maya felt the sting behind her eyes, the kind of sting that tells you you're about to cry. I don't want money, she said, voice shaking but controlled. I just wanted to return it. Brent's smile sharpened. Great, you did. Now you can go. Before I call security. Maya stood frozen. Then the door behind them opened. A man walked in. Tall and quiet, with tired eyes and an expensive coat he wore like he didn't care about it. This was Ethan Harrington, 48 years old, founder and CEO of Harrington Klein Group, a logistics and cybersecurity giant with federal contracts and a reputation for being untouchable. The room changed instantly. Brent straightened like he'd been yanked by a string. Mr. Harrington, Brent said too loudly. I was just handling... What is this? Ethan asked. His voice wasn't raised. That was the problem. It didn't need to be. Brent gestured at Maya. She brought in an envelope, claimed she found it in the trash. I gave her a little something for... Ethan's eyes flicked to the coins on the table. Then to Maya. Then to the envelope. Give it to me. Brent handed it over. Ethan opened it. And for the first time, his face actually moved. He went still. Inside were confidential merger drafts, internal security protocols, and a list of vendor access codes. Information that, in the wrong hands, could expose shipments, contracts, and client systems. Not just embarrassing, catastrophic. Hundreds of millions in potential losses, lawsuits, federal investigations, people losing jobs. Ethan looked at Brent. Did you read this? I glanced, Brent said. It looked old. Ethan's stare was calm but surgical. Old. Then he turned to Maya and lowered himself until he was eye level with her. What's your name? Maya, she whispered. Maya, he said, like he wanted to remember it forever. Did you read any of this? No, sir. I just saw it looked important. My grandma always says you return what isn't yours. Ethan inhaled slowly. A 10-year-old had more integrity than 2 senior employees, with salaries bigger than Maya's family had ever seen. You didn't just do the right thing, Ethan said. You protected this company. You protected the people who work here. Maya's throat tightened. I'm sorry they treated you this way, Ethan continued. That should not have happened. Brent tried to speak. Sir, I didn't mean... Ethan stood. Stop. The single word landed like a door slamming. He pointed at the coins. Pick those up. Brent hesitated, then scooped the coins into his palm. Ethan looked at both men. You're suspended, effective immediately. HR will contact you, and security will review every step that led to this envelope leaving this building. Derek's smirk died. Maya blinked, stunned. Ethan turned back to her. Do you have a way home? Yes, sir. Good, he said. And Maya, thank you. 3 weeks later, the truth came out, and it was uglier than Ethan expected. He brought in outside auditors. He had IT pull logs and emails. He demanded chain of custody reports. He personally sat through interviews that made his executives sweat. Brent hadn't been the source. Derek hadn't either. The name that surfaced was Victor Lang. Victor was the company's commercial director, Ethan's right hand, the man who toasted with him at charity galas, the guy who knew Ethan's kids' birthdays. Victor had been selling internal strategy to a competitor. He had been diverting commissions through shell vendors. He had been quietly weakening Harrington Klein from the inside. And that envelope? It hadn't been tossed by accident. Victor had thrown it away off-site on purpose, planning to retrieve it later or let someone else find it. He didn't count on a 10-year-old with a conscience. At the next board meeting, Ethan laid out the evidence like a prosecutor. "Victor," he said, "do you want to explain why your access badge was used in the secure records room after hours?" Victor's face drained. "Ethan, I can explain—" "Explain this," Ethan said, sliding printed emails across the table. "Explain the offshore payments. Explain the vendor that doesn't exist. Explain why confidential documents ended up in a deli trash bin." Silence. Ethan's voice hardened. "You're terminated for cause. Legal is filing a criminal complaint, and if anyone here helped you, they're going down with you." Victor was escorted out. When the room finally emptied, Ethan stayed seated, staring at the table. He had built a powerful company, but he had let character rot inside it, and the person who exposed it wasn't an auditor. It was a little girl with worn-out sneakers. Maya went back to her life and said nothing. Not to her grandma, not to her little brother, not even to her mom. Because to Maya, she'd just done what she was supposed to do. But Ethan couldn't forget her. He asked his assistant for a report, who she was, where she lived, who her family was. When it landed on his desk, he expected poverty statistics and school records. He wasn't prepared for the name of the mother, Rachel Carter. Ethan's heart beat once, hard. He opened an old drawer in his office that he almost never touched. Inside was a photo from years ago, before the skyscraper, before the empire. A younger Ethan, thinner, smiling beside a woman with tired eyes and a bright laugh. Rachel. They had been together briefly when he was still climbing. She worked as a temp contractor in the building. Smart, kind, and broke in the way that makes rich people uncomfortable. His family didn't approve. His mentors warned him about distractions, and when she got scared and tried to talk to him about something serious, he panicked. He cut contact. He told security not to let her pass the lobby. Then she disappeared. Ethan swallowed. Maya was 10. He did the math, and the room seemed to tilt. Ethan Harrington had a daughter, and he had never known. That weekend, he drove to the address himself. No driver, no security, just a man in a black coat walking up cracked stairs to a building that smelled like detergent and old cooking oil. Miss Loretta answered the door. She looked at him for 2 seconds, and her expression hardened. "You," she said. Ethan's voice came out smaller than he intended. "You know who I am." Loretta didn't invite him in. "Rachel told me. You're the man who left my daughter pregnant and made sure she couldn't reach you." The words hit like a punch. Ethan's mouth opened, but nothing came. "I didn't know," he finally said. "I swear I didn't know." Loretta's eyes narrowed. "You didn't know because you didn't want to know." Ethan lowered his gaze. "I want to make it right," he said. Loretta gave a bitter laugh. "Money doesn't unabandon a child." "I know," Ethan said, "but I can at least make sure they're safe. That Maya can go to a good school. That Rachel doesn't work herself into the ground." Loretta studied him. Then she stepped aside. "Come in." Maya was at the kitchen table doing homework when she looked up and smiled. "Oh, hi, sir," she said, like seeing the CEO in her apartment was normal. "Did you come to visit?" Ethan felt his eyes burn. "Yes," he said. "I wanted to meet your family." The front door opened again. Rachel walked in, tired, carrying a tote bag. When she saw Ethan, the color left her face. "What are you doing here?" she demanded. Maya looked between them, confused. "You know him." Rachel's jaw tightened. Ethan took a breath. "Maya, I need to talk to your mom privately," he said gently. "But I want you to hear this first. You did something brave, and you deserve respect. What happened to you at my office was wrong, and I'm sorry." Rachel's eyes filled, not with gratitude, with years. The truth didn't come in one dramatic confession. It came slowly. Ethan asked for forgiveness. He admitted his cowardice. He offered child support, private school, health care, a safer place to live. Rachel refused at first. Pride and pain make people say no even when the answer should be yes. But Loretta pulled her aside. "Your anger is justified," she told her. "But Maya didn't choose any of this. Let her have opportunities we never had." Over the next months, Rachel finally accepted help on her terms. Maya transferred to a strong school. She got dental care, new books, a bedroom where the heat worked all winter. They moved into a modest apartment in a safer neighborhood, and Ethan started showing up, not as a hero, not as a savior, as a man trying to earn a place he didn't deserve yet. He brought Maya books, asked about her math tests, talked to Jordan about skateboards and sneakers. He listened to Loretta's blunt advice like it was executive coaching. Maya liked him, but she didn't fully understand why he looked at her like he was seeing a ghost. Until one Sunday evening, Rachel sat her down. "Maya," she said, "I need to tell you something." And she told her everything. Maya didn't cry right away. She sat still for a long time. Then she asked one question. "So, he's my dad?" Rachel nodded. "And he didn't know?" Rachel shook her head. Maya stared at the floor. "Why didn't you tell him?" Rachel swallowed. "Because I was hurt, and I was scared he'd reject us again." Maya breathed out slowly. "He seems different now," she said. Rachel looked shocked. "You're not mad?" "I am," Maya said honestly. "A little, but he's trying. And Grandma always says people can change if they do the work. If I don't give him a chance, how am I supposed to ask for chances in my life?" Rachel hugged her, crying. The next time Ethan took them out for lunch, Maya was eating a brownie and said casually, "Dad, can I get another one?" Ethan froze. "What did you say?" Maya smiled. "I said, can I get another one?" "No," Ethan whispered, voice breaking. Before that, Maya tilted her head. "Dad." Ethan cried right there at the table. Years passed. Maya grew into the kind of teenager teachers remember forever. She won debate tournaments, math competitions, scholarship programs. She worked hard, not because she wanted wealth, but because she hated the feeling of doors being locked. Ethan didn't hand her a title. He made her earn everything. Internships, late nights, tough feedback. Rachel went back to school and started a small nonprofit helping other women find stable work. Loretta got consistent medical care. Jordan found his passion and stayed out of trouble. And when Maya became an adult, she didn't ask for the company. She became the person who could run it. The day she was appointed CEO of Harrington Klein, Ethan gave a speech that stunned the room. "My daughter saved my company twice," he said. "Once when she returned an envelope and exposed corruption I couldn't see. And again when she taught me that family isn't biology. It's presence, it's accountability, it's rebuilding." Maya had the original envelope framed in the headquarters lobby. Under it, a plaque read, "The integrity of a child is worth more than the ego of 1,000 executives." Maya later started the Open Envelope Initiative, funding education and mentorship for kids who grow up with talent but no access. And the people who laughed at her that day? Years later, they apologized. She accepted the apology, but she never rehired them. Because forgiveness doesn't mean erasing consequences. It means choosing not to carry the hate. Maya didn't carry it. She carried something stronger. A lesson her grandmother gave her long before she ever stepped into a skyscraper. Do the right thing, even when nobody's watching, especially when nobody's watching. If you're still here, tell us in the comments what city you're watching from, and subscribe for the next story.